This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Richport. This map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. So first I'd like to say a big thank you to White Bull Modding for giving me the ability to have early access to this map, to give them some feedback before uploading it to Giants, and then also to kind of show the map off before its release. And well, guys, here it is. It is now available for everyone to download. And based on my live streams, it seems to be a pretty popular map. So hope you guys enjoy the video and hope you guys enjoy the map. Now let's read a little bit of the description. It says Richport, an American-based map. Mainly it has a flat terrain with some individual hills. Wow, I wouldn't call this map flat terrain, but okay. You all will get to be able to get your own impression here in a moment. With beautiful nature surrounding the map, you have 15 fields to work with. The crops have custom textures. The map has a lot of big meadows. There's a forest in the north of the map and a farm in the middle. All of the main objects on the farm were made by White Bull Modding. There is a lot of sheds, so you won't have a problem with parking your big vehicles. On the farm, there is also a workshop for fixing. The house is very big and has the ability to go inside. There is a sleep trigger inside. On the farm, there's also a couple of silos that are very useful. On the map, there are a total of 3 animals. So there is a custom cow, sheep, and chicken coop, as well as horse ranch. Besides the ranch, there is a place for exercising horses. There are also 2 small towns with sell points. So something else to note is this map is seasons prepared with a seasons mask. This map does not have a custom soil map, but that doesn't mean you can't use precision farming. You'll just get the generic soil map, and we will take a look at how the generic soil map looks with respect to the field layout here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump on in. So we are taking a look in new farmer mode for this video. If you do load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, what you're going to find is that there are no buildings at the farm. Start with a basically completely blank slate as far as buildings go, but you do have the starting equipment. So you will be able to sell or make use of that starting equipment even on farm manager or start from scratch. Go ahead and watch the map load up here. And there we go, everybody. So something else to note is that when we get to the shop and take a look at the placeables, everything you see here on the farm, for the most part, can be placed. Also, from what I understand from White Bull Modding, is that all of the custom buildings will be released as independent mods on the Giants mod hub, so that you can make use of those in other maps, in other gameplay, should you so wish, which I think is really a cool idea. So let's go ahead and take a look at the map. Zoom on out, and we do indeed have 15 fields, and these guys are large and in charge. Let's take a look at plot 12, 33 hectares in size, $2.3 million. Plots 4 and 5, 731,000, 11 hectares in size. Field 1 and 2, 9.76 hectares, $720,000. Now the main farm here, you get on new farmer mode as well as fields 1 and 2. If you were to start in farm manager or start from scratch, you would be able to buy this land. And if you buy it, it's going to cost you $490,000. There is a biogas plant available on the map, and it is right here for $363,000. And pretty much then we have several other areas scattered around the map. You can pretty much buy everything. All the land is buyable. Up here we have the forests. 4 different chunks of buyable forest. The vehicle shop is over here. It is also part of this buyable land. So you can pretty much place other things down at the vehicle shop should you so wish, like maybe bulk fill points. Who knows what else you might want to put down. It's pretty cool that you can buy that and do that. Same with these towns. This is a town plot down here. You can further expand this area should you so wish, as well as this plot here. You can kind of further expand the town if you want over into this area. Now, there is a sheep area up here north of the farm that is part of the BGA. You do not have to own this land in order to make use of the sheep, though. We have a horse pen down here at the ranch, $213,000. And then your other animals, the cows and chickens, are here on the main farm. This map does have all of the standard crops available to it here on Farm Sim 19. Let's go ahead and take a look at that custom soil map, or sorry, at the generic soil map and how it is then applied to our field layout. You see, we get quite the variety in soil types across the fields. Not too terrible bad. Field 2 is pretty darn good as far as loam and sandy loam. Field 1 has a little bit of loamy sand in it. Field 15 is rather interesting. Again, we've got a little bit of silty clay there, but for the most part, it is mostly loam. There you go. You get a little idea of how the soil types are mapping out on the fields. Take a look at our prices screen. You can see we have 4 main sell points for the bulk of our crops. We also have the spinnery for our wool and cotton, 3 sell points for eggs, 3 sell points for milk. You have a wood chip sell point at King's Win. Then if we do not own the biogas plant at White Way, we can sell silage and hay straw and grass. And then if we do have the straw harvest mod enabled, we can indeed sell our pellets at the White Way sell point also. Let's go ahead and take a look here at our starting equipment. We start with a decent listing of starting equipment. It's all fairly new, well maintained for the most part, other than, well, this pickup truck. Pickup truck seems to have not so much the maintenance. Doesn't have a lot of hours on it. Doesn't seem to be maintained very well either. And it is not leased, as well as the John Deere. Well, it looks like it needs some maintenance as well. Do not start with any animals, and we do have contracts available on the map. And given the size of these fields, 140 grand, you get yourself a contract to do potatoes on a 65-acre field. Let's take a look at that starting equipment. Start out with the Case Puma 185 CVX, the Case 7210 Pro, and the John Deere 8245R. So tractors range in horsepower from 170 to 290. We have the Lizard Roadrunner Semi, as well as the Wilson Pacesetter trailer. We have the John Deere T560 harvester. Then that is paired up with the 625X grain header. We have the New Holland FR780 forage harvester. Then we have the drivable Strawderman mixing wagon. We don't see this included too often in our starting equipment. We have the Stara Imperador, another item we don't often see in our starting equipment for our starting sprayer and spreader. We have New Holland L218 skid steer. We've got our pickup truck. We have the Joskin Drakkar 8600 trailer, the Kinsey grain cart. We have our forage header, and then we have the Horsch Cruiser cultivator, the Limpkin Solitar 12 seeder. Then we have the Limpkin Azrut, whatever you want to call it, planter, as well as our seed tank for the planter. with a Breedhall K105 fertilizer and lime spreader, the Samson Flex 23 manure spreader, the Samson PG220 slurry applicator, as well as the cultivator head for that applicator. Got the New Holland disc bind, as well as the Pottinger tedder and Kuhn V-rake, the wheel rake. We've got a square baler here, as well as then a silage roller. We have the silage blade. We have our bale spear for our skid steer, and then we've got our John Deere weight. Now we do move on to our placeables, and just like in Farm Manager or Start from Scratch, where the land is barren, other than your vehicles, we do have the capability in New Farmer to sell it all also. So we can sell the cow pasture, the horse paddock, the sheep pasture, the dog house, the chicken coop, the large grain silo, the hay silo, and now this will also store straw. Then we have our 3 bunker silage bunkers. And we have multiple garages, a house, and there you go. Now, some of these decorative bits in New Farmer mode are likely going to be sticking around. They might be sold with the house. They might stick around. We'll try selling the house here in a little bit and just see if they vanish or not. But in one iteration that I had, the decorative bits stuck around. Later, I saw a screenshot where they basically showed that the decorative bits went away when you sold the buildings. So we'll just see. We'll just see how we get it. So here we have our farmhouse. We've got a garage, pickup truck. Then we can go inside. And once we are inside, the sleep trigger is going to be right here. This house has 2 bedrooms, and then the upstairs is pretty interesting. I don't know if this is a European thing. We've got the kitchen upstairs. Kind of an interesting thing. Often don't see US-based houses like that, but it is kind of interesting. So off to the side, we then also have the dog house, complete with dog. We have our cow pen. So this is listed as being manure system ready. So if you do want to play with the manure system, this is where you're going to hook up the hose for your slurry tank. Got your manure pile. Then you have your cow pen. Got your cow pasture here to the right. Your food and straw triggers are right inside of here. It's also where you're going to buy and deliver your cows. 400 cows for this particular shed. And then your water trough is right over here. So this is where your water trigger is. Now we make use of the animal pen extension mod in these videos, and that's where these blue pipes come into play. But it helps us locate 1, where the water trigger is, and 2, it's going to help us locate where the milk trigger is. You have the ability to open and close these gates. Also, these gates here. Now on the side here, we have a fuel trigger. We have our chicken coop. We have our food area and our buy delivery area. 400 chickens. And these are free roam chickens. You're going to find these things walking all over the place. And the chicken boxes are going to spawn in right here. Now in my testing, pre-release testing, only 3 chicken boxes will appear before you start getting the notice about running out of chicken box space. So do be aware that we do have fairly limited size in chicken boxes. Then we have our milk trigger. And again, the milk machine here is a byproduct of the animal pen extension mod. It is placed here for PC players that activate that mod in order to basically provides you automated milk sales. So you can come in here and actually relocate this out of the way. The arrow keys. And then when you walk up to it, you'll have the ability to do an automated milk sale for a small fee. It's really convenient. Now, one thing I do not know. I do know if you do this on Farm Manager or Start from Scratch, this silo, and then there is a corresponding silo off in the distance, it is not here. Now, what I don't know is if this silo vanishes with the sale of any buildings in New Farmer mode, but it isn't here in Farm Manager or Start from Scratch. So we have our farm silo. To the left, we have our dump point. Right here, we have our fill trigger for our silo. We have our first of several custom sheds. And inside here, we do have a lift, which is pretty cool. Operate the lift with our left mouse button. Up. And we can drop the lift down. Another one of our sheds. Down here we've got our tractor, we've got our truck, our harvester, harvester header, slurry tank, forage harvester. Back we have what's listed in the shop as bale storage, bale sheds, has some more starting equipment. And we also have those 3 big silage bunkers here at the main farm. Bunker 1, 2, and bunker number 3. And we have our hay and straw silo. So we have our fill pipe, and then we have our dump station. And then we have the last shed here at the main farm. This is a pull-through variety. And that, guys, is pretty much a tour of the main farm. Let's go ahead and get set up for that fly around and, well, take a look at the map from above. Get a little bit of altitude, and now we can start seeing the ebb and flow of the land. And then these 2 fields directly in front of me are the 2 fields that we own at the start. We have field 2 over there, and then field 1, which then wraps around behind the silage bunkers. Directly in front, we have the sheep pen. We'll take a look at that when we get around to the drive around. Biogas plant. Fairly large grass area here on the other side of these trees. Got the large forest over here with some roads and everything set up for your forestry. And the shop is off in the distance, but what we're going to do is we're going to swing back around, because I do want to end at the shop so that we can get in our Mahindra and do a little bit of driving. This map does include custom crop textures. We have our biogas plant right there. We do have our fuel trigger right here, the fuel station. We have our log and wood chips. We have one of our grain sell points right up here on the hill. And then down below the hill, we have another grain sell point. Then in the corner over here, corner area is the spinnery. So that's that area right there is the spinnery. We have our animal dealer. And once again, just take a look at how huge these fields are. If you want a big field of potatoes, this is the second time I've seen potatoes in this field, and oh my gosh, this is a massive field, let alone to have it in potatoes. That is going to take you an eternity, to say the least. Here we have another one of our grain sell points. See you. Field 9 is no slouch of its own. That is sure. And across the bridge, we're going to find our horse ranch. The horse ranch, as of the time this map is released, is the first building that is available as a placeable. Go into a little bit more detail with the horse ranch here in a little bit. Move over here to our second little town, and this little town has another grain sell point right here. Then across the bridge, we have our hay, straw, and grass sell point. Here at the red barn. And then we have our vehicle shop. Interesting enough, it looks like our cultivator and our seeder is indeed down here at the local John Deere dealer shop. Go inside. If we are to use the shop trigger, and then around the corner, we have our maintenance, repair, and sell trigger. And I do believe you have to actually be inside the building here in order for that to activate. So let's take a look, because we didn't look earlier. Let's take a look at our placeables that are actually buyable here in the shop. We can buy our custom horse, dog, chicken, and cow and sheep areas. Also, acquire our custom silo, bunker, our hay silo, and our grain silo. As far as sheds go, we do have access to buy the metal shed, bale shed, the big shed, the garage, and we can still do it. We can still buy, if we want to, a replica of the shop. Now, this does not include a buy a shop trigger, but if you just wanted to put a John Deere dealership somewhere on the map, you can put it down. It just won't have an active shop trigger. Thought that was kind of interesting, and we do indeed have farmhouse. Let's get on with our drive around. I think what we'll do is drive in the reverse order that we flew around the map in. First stop off is going to be the bale sell point for hay, straw, grass, and silage. can sell bales or loose here. Trigger for that is right here by this big stack of bales. And we're going to drive for the next little bit in cab because I think it gives the best overall sense of the ebb and flow of the fields and the hills. And like I said at the start of the video, little comical that it's described as a map that is flat terrain with some individual hills. That was not my take. My take on this map was it was a map with some pretty much consistent rolling hills across the entire map. I don't know too many true flat spots. Take a look across here. Not seeing the outset too many true flat spots. We have one of our grain sell points up on the hill. And let's actually take a look at this feature. We're not going to drive all the way across the map. I do want to show you this little feature. We do have a little bit of a water crossing. Ford the river here at this little shallow area. Cool little detail. Maybe one day we'll have water be modeled in a little bit more realistic way. And just up the street, we do indeed have our horse ranch. Horse ranch is a buyable area. So we have our water trough right here. We have our food and straw trough, our trigger inside of here, as well as our dealer trigger for our horses. Then our horses basically will be either in this side or this side of the fenced area. Not sure how they get across, but somehow they spawn in one of those two locations. There is an exercise yard off in the distance there. Panning across, trying to show the overall ebb and flow of these fields. This cornfield here to the left, if you didn't notice it, it has a pretty significant drop off down by the river. Come on over here to the second of the 4 grain sell points. Again, since pretty much every piece of land is buyable on the map, all of this grass that you see is pretty much buyable and therefore cuttable. Landscape the ground and add more sell points, other things to the map. So right here we have our driveway for our farm. That's our farm lane. Field 2 on our right is one of the pre-owned fields in new farmer mode. Road off to the left is kind of a little access loop. You buy this plot here, this grass area over here, and use it as grass for your own purposes, or just level it out and expand the town with your own placeables, should you so wish. Up here we have our 3rd grain sell point up on this hillside. Kind of loop in here. Your way around the back to the animal dealer. Animal dealer at the chute with the giant cow. And something I didn't notice is, take a look here, we can buy chickens at the animal dealer. Do still cost us a delivery fee, but if we want to, we could buy chickens at the animal dealer. We have our 4th and final grain sell point, as well as the spinnery for cotton and wool right here in the corner. Fuel station. We have the back of the farm. Back part of field 1. And our log sell point right here. Wood chips are around back. And all we're left with is the biogas plant and the sheep yard. We have the VGA facility. 2 large bunkers here. Really wide. So necessarily tall, but pretty wide bunkers. Trigger for 1 and 2. Digestate, and of course our digester right there to our left. We do have a rear entrance to the main farm off of this road right there. And then this road serves as a purpose, one, to help you access the forest areas, as well as the grass back here behind the biogas plant. Big grass area that opens up behind the biogas plant, which in its own regard, you could probably level out and, again, do what you want, build out placeables and whatnot. Then we have the final animal area, the sheep pen. 250 sheep in this particular pen. Side here, we do have our water trough here on the right side of the building. Our food trough on the left side of the building. And then it's not marked, but our wool is going to spawn out here in the grass just outside of this fence line. Guys, that is it. That is Richport by White Bull Modding. Thank you for coming out and watching today's video. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of Richport? And until next time, happy farming. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.